check this out, guys. Now that Derrick Rose has announced that he's retiring, the million-dollar question is, should he be inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame? And I know a lot of us, we're very, very comfortable with calling it the NBA Hall of Fame. It's not the NBA Hall of Fame. It's not that. Stop calling it that. Don't call it that. Ever. Don't call it that. Call it the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, which is named after the guy who created the game of basketball. Now, with that said, when we make the determination whether or not someone should be inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame, what we do is we consider everything. We consider what they did in high school. We consider what they did in college. We consider what they did overseas. We consider what they did in the NBA. We got to consider all these things. So, if considering all that, should Derrick Rose make it to the NBA? Excuse me, I just said it myself, to the Basketball Hall of Fame. And I'm going to just be frank. No. Because Derrick Rose is the biggest what-if player in the history of the game. And what am I talking about? What if he never got injured? What if he never got injured? What could he have been? We don't know. We could just assume that he would have been a clear choice for Basketball Hall of Fame. We could just assume that. Because he was, and why I'm assuming that? He was clearly on route. He had a good high school career, won 2 state titles out there, Illinois, went on, played well in that 1 year in Memphis, almost captured an NCAA championship as a freshman. But now we got to stop there. That's when he got his first stain in the game. That's when he got his first stain. What I mean by the first stain was right after they made it all the way to the championship, the NCAA, they jumped on Memphis. And they like, yo, your man D Rose wasn't eligible to play. I'm going to say it again. They said your man D Rose wasn't eligible to play. According to our research or our investigation, let me say that, the man cheated on that SAT, meaning he didn't even take the test. That's what they saying. They saying D Rose didn't take the test. They saying somebody else took the test for him. And that's not very uncommon in the basketball world. I don't know about other sports, but in the basketball world, it's not uncommon. You got kids that they can play, but they can't pass, they can't get a high enough score to be eligible when it comes to taking that SAT. So they was basically saying D Rose fell under that. And then they also said that Memphis knew this prior, somewhere around December, they knew this, and they still let him play. Memphis denied it. No, we don't know what you're talking about. No, we didn't do it. But what they couldn't deny, let me tell you what you got to they couldn't deny. They couldn't deny the fact that they let D Rose's brother Reggie hang out with the team, go on trips with the team, road games I'm referring to, not paying no money. So they said, you know that much. You might come and say, you don't know about the SAT scores, and you might play stupid about that you don't know whether or not he has someone else take the test. But you know that Reggie was supposed to be going with you guys on those away trips for absolutely free. They even put a number out there, $1,700. That's the number, ladies and gentlemen. $1,700 is what they saying. Reggie got $1,700 worth of free perks from the University of Memphis. So what did they do? They vacated that season and put them on probation. And people in Memphis, they was distraught. Some of those fans was distraught. So they started to sue the school. Yo, man, let me get my money back. Which is kind of insane. Let's keep it real. It's kind of insane because you was at the game. You watched the game. You enjoyed the season. Memphis went like 26 straight games they won the first 26 games. And you was there as a fan, yelling and screaming and painting your face and all that, and you enjoyed that. But now that they saying they vacated the season, they put a lawsuit in, and I think they settled for like $100,000. And that's crazy. Because for me, even when they have those situations where they vacate the season, like let's say with Louisville, they vacated that season for them. Listen, man, Michigan know they lost to Louisville that year. Shout out to Russ Smith. But Memphis know they played Michigan. Michigan know that they lost that season. They know that. Come on. So you can sit there and, they can vacate the season all they want. You know what happened that season. So for a fan standpoint, you was at those games. You enjoyed that season. But I guess business is business. Hey, man, I want my money back. I'm get my money back. I want my money back. So they settled. John Calipari, he settled. Him, I think Memphis, but they settled, gave him $100,000, and that was that. And for the record, that was the second time that a team that was coached by John Calipari, things got vacated. That happened with him when he was, I want to say 96, somewhere around there when he was coaching in UMass. I want to say like 96, Marcus Camino guy. That was the second time that happened. Anyway, Derrick Rose had to leave because he became ineligible. So he had to leave. And, people like to skip over that and be like, yeah, John Calipari, he forces you to go to the NBA. Yeah, force or no force. Your man had to leave and he had to go to the NBA. Got in the NBA, and what did he do? Became Rookie of the Year. Excuse me, let me rewind. Got to the NBA, and what did he do? He became the number 1 overall draft pick. The number 1 as a guard. And that's kind of big. Point guard at that. Then he won Rookie of the Year. By year 3, he became the youngest NBA player to win MVP at the age of 22. But then from there, your man just started getting injured. The injuries started piling up. D Rose, they was up probably was up by 10, 12 points. And Tom Thibodeau never took him out. And he caught that ACL tear. And I give it to Tom. I give Tom one thing. I give you one thing, Tom Thibodeau. Even though I don't really, as a coach, whatever. But I give him credit for one thing. He knew that was a pivotal time of D Rose's career, and he threw a bone a few times. Tom threw a few bones. When Tom got that job in Minnesota, he gave Derrick Rose, brought him along. And when Tom got that job in New York, he threw Derrick Rose a bone again. And both times, Derrick Rose was really there. The NBA didn't need Derrick Rose at that time. It was just like one of those situations where D Rose, he's a good guy. He's going to give you everything he got. Plus, he had history on his side. That's what he had. He had history on his side. So this is why he was able to stretch that NBA career out for 15 years. Because he went from being talked about as one of the top 3 players in the league to just being, I don't even want to say average, say slightly average. But if we start taking a look at those later years of D Rose, we start taking a look at those later years, he clearly was being thrown a bone. Let's talk about just last year when he played with Memphis. 24 games, 7 starts. 16 minutes a game. This is Derrick Rose getting 16 minutes a game, averaging 8 points. The year before that in New York, averaged 5.6. Just basically was a bench warmer. Your man D Rose is a bench warmer, and it happens to the best. It happens to the best. The man gets up in age. He got a history of being injured. What do you want from him? I mean, me personally, even though I'm going to go on record and say, no, I don't think that he's a NBA Hall of Fame. No, I don't think that he should be inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. But I could keep it real. I wouldn't be upset if they inducted him. I wouldn't be upset. They bring him in, bring D Rose in, fine. Should he be there? No. Because we can't put somebody in based off of potential. You can get an NBA contract off of potential. You can get an NBA off of potential. You can get in college off of potential. And what I mean by that is somebody can look at you and they can say, yo, he can potentially be something bigger than what he is today. Bring him in, let us work with him, and he'll get to where we need him to get. So you can get to those places off potential, but the Basketball Hall of Fame is not the place to be off of potential. That's not the place to be. Either you did it, got it done, or you didn't. And unfortunately, if we erase those first 3 years of Derrick Rose contract, of Derrick Rose career, he didn't get it done. And I love Derrick Rose. I'm gonna tell you guys, I love him. And what I love about him is I love how humble he was. I love how he just always came across as a nice guy. And I'm just saying came across. I don't know this man. But I'm just saying I could just judge by what I see. I can look at his demeanor. I can look at what he displayed. And whatever he sold, I bought it. And I'm saying, yeah, I like you, D Rose. I like you, D Rose. But Hall of Famer, no. And I think Derrick Rose would agree with that. But let me just close out real quick. I don't want to have you guys here all day. What I like about D Rose, right, was I looked at an interview with him. He was up in a barbershop up in Harlem doing an interview, right? And he said in that interview that so many times he was considering just giving up and just quitting basketball. And I know mentally it has to take a toll on you, because anytime you was somebody at one point in your life and life throws you that harsh pill, and then you no longer the person that you once were, it's easy for you just to fall apart. Very easy to fall apart. But D Rose, I salute you, because you never fell apart and you just kept playing. Even through those seasons where you was you was just a shell of yourself, averaging those seasons where you averaging 5 points, 8 points, 12 points, 14 points. Just those seasons alone, and you just clearly a shell of who you once was, or a shell of who you potentially could be. You stuck it out. By year 3, Derrick Rose was the number 2 player that ever put on a Chicago uniform. Keep it real. And I'm going record and say, yeah, he was over Scotty. By year 3, yes, he was over Scotty. He was right there. All he needed to do was stay healthy and bring some championships to Chicago. He would have been right there. I'm telling you, he had the potential to overthrow Michael Jordan as the top player to ever put on Chicago Bulls uniform. And I'm saying, yes, he did. And the reason why I'm saying, because he's a Chicago kid. That's why it's nothing in the world like being from a city and everybody know you from being a state champion, right? And then you go to college, you come back to your city, which has to be pressure, because you got uncles, aunts, family members, friends, anybody like this got their damn hand out. But you able to come into that environment and function and win. That third year, the year that Derrick Rose won MVP, them dudes won like 60 games. So he was winning there. Only thing that's missing was the titles. And I think the titles, the thing about him with those titles, D Rose is on it like this. I'm not going out here recruiting no players, because we had gotten to that era where people started recruiting each other. You know, we had gotten to that LeBron era and all that's where this guy's recruiting this guy to come to this team. D Rose refused to do that. D Rose was like, listen, you want to come, come. But that ain't my job to be calling people, telling them, yo, come play with us, man. Yo, come play with us. But I think if he hadn't gotten injured and he would have recruited a player or two, Chicago could have won out there. He was winning with guys like Luol Deng. And I didn't know disrespect to Luol Deng, but face it, Luol Deng done nothing after he left Chicago. He done nothing. He was able to win with Derrick Rose in Chicago. So all that, him being in Cleveland and all that, whatever. You know, but Chicago days was his best days, and Derrick Rose was winning with them guys. So I want to say, and I want to close out with this, man. You know, D Rose got nothing to be ashamed of. You know, and I know as a competitor, sometimes you got to put your head down and be like, damn, I could have, would have, should have. I know that. Nah, bro. Nothing to be ashamed of. You had a good career. It didn't pan out the way you wanted. Now it's time to move on with your life, D Rose. What's up for the next chapter? He got a son a little younger than my son, that's out there playing ball. Maybe that's what he want to put his attention into, that different business endeavors. Nothing to be ashamed of. Wherever he go, he's going to be noticed. People going to be like, yo, that's D Rose. You know, but to answer my own question, no, he's not an NBA Hall of Famer. However, if they induct him to the NBA Hall of Fame, I, for one, would not be upset.